You can't believe someone would react to that way if it was wrong.
I don't know, it's just Don West. I think he reacts like that.
Oh,
to
it's
anything
amazing
when he
the
wakes
way
up. When he's on the toilet.
When his wife brings his tea in, he just goes, "Are you kidding me? What? Oh,
It's
God.
amazing. And then he'll try and sell it. Something. For my hat.
Your birthday, we love you very much, so have a funky birthday. Please have it funky.
Hello, and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews, and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Created, and as ever, I am joined to my right by Sam Chance.
Hello.
And to my left by the birthday boy himself, Jack Chance.
Hello.
And today is a special birthday edition of Better Call Creative, the first of the year, marking Jack's birthday. Happy birthday, Jack.
Thank you.
And this year we are going to be taking the task of giving our birthday boy the opportunity to do a full fantasy card from wrestling's past to make the ultimate pay-per-view. Have you enjoyed the task?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just my card.
Well, I mean,
I'm good at it.
you might have enjoyed the card, but not enjoyed the task.
I'm going to bet the card and they go, oh, that was shit.
And I'll get your thoughts on whether you feel his card was acceptable at the end, Sam. But speaking of cards, on March 6th, 1992, day you were born, there were two cards ran, WCW and WWF. We're going to decide now between us which card we would have preferred to go to. Okay, so keep score in your mind as opening matches from the WWF: the Berserker versus Tom Stone.
Oh Jesus!
Going up against from the WCW, Ricky Morton beating Johnny B. Bad.
Well, that's better.
Well, he was Richard Morton at the time. He was heel
Ricky Morton.
Then match 2, piss break time. It is Rick Martel beating Del Wilkes.
Oh, the Patriot.
The Patriot. Well, you would have liked match 2s, I think. Match 2 in WCW was double count out, which might give you an idea who was in it. It was Mr. Abdullah the Butcher fighting Cactus Jack. Match 2. Match 3, in the strangest of matches, especially when you consider that one is a tag team and they don't go over. It was Demolition Crush and Jim Brunzell defeating the Beverly Brothers.
Was he painted up?
Well, it says Demolition Crush.
Demolition so B. It must not have debuted as his Hawaiian gimmick.
No, I mean, was it Demolition Crush, Demolition B? Demolition Jim. And in WCW, it was Mr. Hughes and Vinny Vegas defeating Big Josh and Ron Simmons, who would end the year as champion.
And Paul Farouk. The one that ended as a clown.
Yes, that's true. Match 4. Natural champ. I would imagine this is after the break. So we've had the intermission now.
We've had a break after that.
Well, you would imagine so. The Natural Disasters overcame Slaughter and Duggan by DQ.
Of course they did.
Whilst WCW, they went really heavy after the break because they went Dustin Rhodes and the Steiner brothers defeating the Dangerous Alliance of Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton and Steve Austin. I think we know who's winning so far. Don't worry though, things are going to improve because the sub-main events saw IRS overcoming Virgil.
Yes.
WWF. And WCW was Barry Windham defeating Larry Zbyszko. And our main events, 2 cage matches. Well, unfortunately, there's not a lot to criticise.
These cards?
No, that happened the same night.
Oh,
the
same arena. No, I know that. I mean, like the same.
Area. They could. I don't know whether
because these cards are just basically the same.
Well, the main events of both cage matches. It's Randy Savage beating Jake Roberts in one, and the other is Rick Rude defeating Sting in a steel cage.
Rick Rude.
Yeah. See, everything was going well for WCW, and then I knew Sting was in the main event, so I prefer me some Virgil. Need I go around the room to see who we prefer? Which card we prefer?
I think WCW is a bit better.
A bit better when you look at who's.
And WWF was destroying WCW at the time.
Yeah, well, the WWF was kind of destroying itself, I think, at this point already.
Yeah, but this is just before WrestleMania. This is between Royal Rumble 92, which is considered to be probably one of the best Royal Rumbles, when they had a heavy... And then, obviously, once WrestleMania 8 went, and they started sacking everyone. But it obviously shows that a lot of the top cards didn't do house shows.
Yeah. Well, they might have been in another area.
That's true. Arena. This could have been the B show. I would hope that it's the B show from the opening three matches.
I would guess if there was another show, you'd probably have. I know they was doing this about that time. Hogan and Piper v Flair and Sid.
Was
Flair
Sid
and Taker
not?
As well.
Because this was March, so I would imagine Sid was well into his heel.
Yeah. So him and Flair v Piper. I know
of course,
Hogan
yeah. So you were saying, yeah. Oh, yeah, could have
So-
been. And Brett wasn't on the card,
No.
but he obviously
So-
still had
and
his.
Skinner.
He still had his 3,000 degree temperature that would kill a normal human being.
The mountain.
But there you have it,
No
Jack.
more
We hope that your cards will will blow those out the
There's
water.
not a killer bee in sight. I'll tell you that.
I'm disappointed.
You'll have your chance in June. Don't worry. You can have a card full of killer bees. If you like.
Uh,
But I'm going to throw to you, Jack, to introduce your opening bout.
Match 1
Yes.
is an Ultimate X match
Start hot.
from the Final Resolution 2005.
Mm-hmm.
It is P.T. Williams versus Chris Saban versus AJ Styles for the X Division Championship.
It is indeed. And we are in the Impact Zone. Commentary team, of course, is Mr. Donald West. Sir Donald West and Mike Tenay.
The Professor.
Out first is Chris Saban, and followed by Scott D'Amore and P.T. Williams, who I believe is the X Division champion going into it. Oh, he should have been out last. Don't like that. Tenay does a good job putting over P.T.'s quality, though, and I am AJ Styles' theme plays. Of course, the best AJ Styles theme. We all agree on that. Don goes into complete oversell of the upcoming match. It's Ultimate X! Someone's probably going to die!
Oh,
He is amazing, isn't he?
I'm surprised he was selling merch.
It probably was at the time, throwing caps from the.
Find some shit! I'm in the TNA band.
The three men size each other up, and Saban wins the opening with a series of clotheslines. PT is our heel in the match and tries to work over, but gets double teamed by Saban and Styles, who hits a big corner clothesline, which Saban follows up with a launcher drop kick. Saban's from Power Rangers, isn't he?
Saban, yeah.
It's not him. He's not in the match. Saban teases a rope climb first as he battles with AJ in the ring. PT sneaky heel trips Saban, and AJ planches over onto both men. There's a very weak connection by Saban on a top rope dropkick onto AJ, and he's free to climb for the gold. Scott D'Amore jumps in to stop him and is sent out of here by the referee.
they love it at all. The fucking commentary.
They do, and the fans. I mean, Vince would have had a teary eye, wouldn't he, listening to his favourite song being chanted by the crowd. No, as Scott D'Amore. He is a very underrated manager, though. Scott D'Amore. I do like Scott D'Amore, and I like Team Canada as a heel faction.
Yeah, the only team for the World X Cup that lasted.
Yeah, everything else
died.
Did they have a Team UK at any point?
I think they did at the beginning.
They had like Team Canada, Team Mexico, Team USA, or Impact
in Japan,
and then like a team other.
Team International.
Team Rest of the World.
Which was it Dabari Kiyoshi, Alex Kozlov.
Who's Alex Kozlov?
Some Russian bloke.
Oh.
And was it Magnus? Or there was a British bloke.
Might be Doug.
Or Rob Terry or something.
I don't think it would have been Magnus, because Magnus would have been doing gladiators.
Yeah.
Fighting
He
wolves.
wouldn't have been.
But the leader was Daivari.
Oh dear.
And then
He's
it-
still in WWE, and he Daivari.
Yeah.
I saw
See
him
him
as a
backstage,
backstage thingy the other day.
his
Pete,
brother's in NWA.
is he?
Ari Daivari, yeah.
He was on thingy as well, wasn't he? Did they fight when they was in Saudi Arabia once?
Him
Yeah,
and
he
Daivari,
was
the
in
two
205
Daivaris,
Live.
yeah, come out in the first one because obviously they'll be right.
Because yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
real in Saudi Arabia.
They're around there.
Yeah.
Good old WWE booking. PT hits a roll through suplex back body drop suplex sequence. There's a lot going on in that move, but it is a very good sequence. The sharpshooter by PT on Saban as AJ makes a
Wonder if
play.
I'll say that again.
Do we see that again? Oh, you mean on the
You can't criticise a match that happened.
Yes,
14 years
this is bad
No,
booking
not-
by you.
Oh, sorry.
You've got the same spot happening in your two opening matches, Jack. You should have known
terrible.
better. AJ makes a play for the belt, but PT hits a huge belly to back suplex. PT goes for a pinfall, which Tenay tells him off for. I don't really understand why he went for that pinfall. It must have been accidental or something. I can't.
Yeah, I think he just forgot.
Yeah. There's a beautiful.
So you
There's a beautiful overhead kick by AJ onto a charging PT in the ring. Our faces get aggressive with each other now, which leads to a big spot where AJ has Saban in a powerbomb, only for PT to drop from the Ultimate X ropes onto Saban and Hurricane Rana him off AJ's shoulders, which is quite amazing. PT and AJ climb high, but kayfabe dies as PT just has to hang there for a bit to allow AJ to barely hit. Phenomenal forearm. PT does drop though. Don West though, even though you know that spot didn't matter, Don West just shouts a lot. Are you kidding me? That's the best thing. He won't allow you as a watcher to think that it was wrong because you can't believe someone would react to that way if it was wrong.
I don't know, it's just Don West. I think he reacts like that.
Oh,
to
it's
anything.
amazing when he wakes
When he's on the toilet.
When his wife brings his tea in, he just goes, "Are you kidding me?" Wow! Oh God!
Amazing.
He'll try and sell it. Something.
Do you want my hat? Oh dear! We don't have to wait too long before we see our next spot, which is a top rope Hurricane Rana, which literally sends AJ across the ring. There's another great spot which sees a double Scorpion Death Drop by PT. As PT as Saban. AJ does his springboard moonsault into a sort of Scorpion.
DDT.
Yeah, and all three of them drop down, and then AJ bends himself in half basically from the top row, which was it was an unbelievable bump. The pace of the match is completely relentless. There's nice work now as PT is now using the steel structure of the X to work over the arm of AJ. Saban hits the cradle shot on PT and he's heading up. The arm of AJ is teased to be affecting him as Saban tries and blocks a Styles Clash with an armbar, but he does end up doing the Styles Clash one-armed. AJ is injured arms and can't make his way over, so falls from the X. PT Williams sneaks in and hits the Canadian Destroyer. Little does he know that in 2022 that move has no weight behind it anymore. No one has ever won with a Canadian Destroyer since 2005. PT hits a spinning DDT on Saban, who recovers to hit a running crucifix bomb from one corner to the other. And the finish sees both Saban and PT grab the gold, have a tug between them, and AJ.
Excuse me?
Well, he does. They do have a tug. Just not in private. And AJ springboards off the top
He's
rope.
having none of that.
None of this
He's
jogging.
a Christian.
God would not approve. And he claws the belt and from the grasp of both men, grabbing the belt. And for some reason, that must be a rule. Whoever has the belt in their possession as they hit the mat, it must now be the rule. As AJ wins the X Division title.
Dick can knock the belt down and then pick it up. I'm good.
Kayfabe is dead.
Dead.
We'll leave you till that. Well, no, we should go for you first, really. Yeah, because you can't very well criticise this.
Right, with absolutely shit.
But just give me your thoughts whether you liked your choice of opening match.
I very much enjoyed my choice of matches. It was very good.
It was a tremendous opener to our pay-per-view. I thought it was a spot fest, but it's an Ultimate X. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. There was only a couple of sloppy bits. I did like the kayfabe of the arm work because at least it added a bit of psychology. I did really like the double reverse DDT spot. The bump that AJ took off the drop kick where he bent himself in half. And even though it was 25 minutes, I think probably our longest match, it didn't feel it did sort of fly.
Yeah, it did fly.
Sam?
It was... I don't mind this match. Ultimate X I ain't really overly keen on, personally.
As a concept.
Yeah, as a concept. But these and three that work it well, they know what to do. Obviously AJ just upping around and what have you. I just don't like the finish.
You didn't like the glory?
No,
I don't know how I feel.
He just went, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the floor, I've got it.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel with that as a concept because it does all. Does that mean then if one of them had possession and then he knocked it out their hands, would it have counted? I suppose they're just trying to be, because it's hard to be modern and change a ladder match now. Because which in effect it is.
WWE.
Yeah.
It'll definitely have happened in WWE.
Probably, yeah.
Drop the belt and somebody picked it up.
I think it happened in WCW. Everything happened in WCW.
Yeah.
I just I'm more a fan of that finish. It was it's slightly ruined it for me.
No, I get that.
It's like, okay, you won up the belt. Technically, you've won. But then if somebody else is like tugging at it with you, so...
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't.
Both people unhooked it though, don't they?
So it should be rehooked.
PT and
Saban.
Start the match again.
Double champ.
Record of that.
If it's good enough for China and Jericho.
Oh.
If that happened, you'd have said, "Well, that's shit."
They could have had just someone get it, couldn't they? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I do think it weakens the concept slightly from a pure kayfabe.
He's still in his arm though, eh? So
yeah, and I did that. That was the best bit, and that's why AJ, out of the three of them, could obviously work the WWE style because you could tell that he's got.
And was the one that was going to be main event.
Yeah.
Look at
he already had been.
Well, no, PT. I think PT
two-time champ. That's it. Because I know they run down.
Been world champ at that point.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of because he was one of the people that sort of put strength in the X division because you're giving it credibility by having a legitimate world champion.
Just sort of flow through everything. They tag and everything else.
So match 2. Over to you, Jack, to give us the match 2.
Match 2 is Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from SummerSlam 1991.
Yes.
For the Intercontinental title.
This is
featuring the coach.
And this is Perfect's last wrestling match in WWE for over a year. Because of back injury, I think.
It was Survivor Series 92.
So our challenger,
back in our archive.
yes, you can check that out. Substitute perfect. Our challenger is out first.
He's slightly better than Warwick, though, to be honest.
God, yes. Our challenger's out first in a very killer pink leather jacket and gets a very big pop. I mean, there's no doubt when that's when that's happening in the garden, I'm pretty sure Vince probably takes notice and thinks,
"Where's Tom McGee?"
It is a 3 that I never knew commentated together, but it was a
Bobby and Roddy.
Yeah, it's.
And I think Bobby had already gone backstage and he had done his bit with Hogan with the belt. Because he did have the big belt on this show.
Well, I thought that ended the show. I did. I
think he did it in the middle. I think he walked off during the Bushwhackers natural disasters match. He walked off, and then you just see him walk back.
Oh well, the Bushwhackers and natural disasters is the match that follows this.
Oh, this is the second match on the card.
Oh, the opener was
the 6-man tag.
Which was a good 6-man tag.
Yeah, it was.
It was, to be fair, even though it had Paul Romer in. So yes, on the stick, Bobby Heenan mocks Stu Hart and Helen Hart for not clapping in time, which I did really like. Great rhythm. That's what he says. Oh, brilliant. I mean, I get that Bobby Heenan is no longer Mr. Perfect's manager, but what the fuck is this bloke? I mean, who the fuck is the coach?
He
I don't
manages the
really
Beverly
understand
Brothers
coach.
to begin with.
Does he?
Yeah, he's the
I wouldn't
first
have
Beverly
minded him
Brothers
with the
manager.
Beverly Brothers, but what the fuck is
He's
he
some
doing with
Canadian wrestler.
I think.
he is, or something.
Why did they ever? I know they took Genius off him to replace with Heenan. Why didn't they just put him back with the Genius, who is a much better manager than this random,
Coach.
just an old guy with the
He
crowd?
don't need a manager, does he really?
Not
But-
really.
well, he don't-
He
he
can
don't,
cut
he
a
can
promo and not having that fucking whistle as well.
Yeah.
Don't Bill Alfonso.
Well,
Fuck off.
well, it works, don't it? Because you get annoyed.
No, he
He
don't.
just
I don't
sounds
think he
sweet.
does. I don't.
Why
No,
does
it
Mr.
works in
Perfect
terms of
need a
heel
coach?
heat. He
Yeah, but he
might
don't
work together
Jesus,
with
you call
Perfect.
you Sam as the barometer.
Because you can, because you just told him to fuck off.
Yeah, but he hates everything. So
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't vehemently say it like he did then.
Well, we'll see whether you hate this at the end.
He don't make sense.
What I did like though is the stonewashed Turtles T-shirt worn by the kid who receives Bret Hart's glasses. Even after an even start though, Bret tosses out Mr. Perfect. There's a crucifix pin by Bret, which gets a 2, as Piper and Heenan bicker on commentary. Basically, Piper says he's going to knock the shit out of Heenan.
I don't think we get Piper much on commentary after this.
No. Bret shows heel moves with a tit-for-tat hair-pulling spot. Bret goes for a 2 on a crossbody in a sunset flip, and we're back into a headlock. There's a big chop by Perfect to break the hold, but Bret catches his leg and lays in a big stomp. Both men hit kickouts towards each other before Bret again stays on top with a clothesline to the outside. Perfect tries to walk it off, and you can tell, I think at this point, I know his singlet gets ripped as well, but you can tell that Perfect's really struggling with his back.
Yeah.
He looks fucked.
Yeah.
Stu Hart, at this point, they go to him in the camera and he looks like he's catching flies.
He's totally.
He does look like he's catching
I don't like how father put him away.
Yeah, it's a terrible seat, isn't it?
Yeah, go on, bugger off up there.
What a wrestle.
In case they bring Bruce along, it's
He is. Did you watch till after the match?
now.
After the match,
Yeah.
Bret goes into the
Crowd
crowd.
goes into the crowd.
Yeah,
And
That's
then-
when he like
He
is
ups
it Lord
in the-
Alfred Justice Chair when he goes, what do you want to say? And before he even answers, he goes, well, there you go.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
And
Brilliant.
Stu's still talking.
Yeah, but he can't understand a fucking
No.
word.
He's
Perfect.
British, Stuart.
Is it?
I think
Yeah.
he is. Yeah, he come from not England and then moved to Canada.
Take him from Netherlands.
Lived in a
didn't
tent apparently.
Look
Look it up. There's
Oh,
some-
when we're going to do the
some like
Stuart podcast, that's amazing. Perfect hits a sly right hand to lay out Bret behind the back of Earl Hebner, our referee. Perfect ups the aggression with kicks to the ribs and a chop to the outside. Piper gives a sports-like commentary piece on Perfect carrying a bit more weight into the match, which I think covered for the fact that he was carrying a bit more weight.
Oh my God, he's fat.
Yeah, he can't work out as much, so he's a bit of a fatty now. But yeah, I thought it was a good piece of commentary anyway. Nice spot as Bret is barged off the apron onto a photograph. But the bloke
bloke's like just staring.
yeah. Well, Gorilla tries to tell us that he's hurt, but he's just like,
Just
looking, what the
going, "Oh,
fuck am I
shouldn't
going to do?
video." Sorry.
That's the problem with having photographers rather than this.
Bret tries a quick roll up, but catches an uppercut. Bret goes full force into the buckle, back first this time. He really hits the
He
buckles,
does.
doesn't he, Bret? And he shakes the ring. Perfect snap neck breaker, but he only gets a 2. There's a strange spot now as both men sort of make their way to the top turnbuckle, and it kind of leads to Bret landing on the top rope, kind of half catching his leg, then flopping to the ground, and Perfect just sort of goes, fucking yeah, onto him. It was weird, but it kind of worked. It kind of sold the tiredness of both men.
I'm knackered, be back. Look at me.
Yeah, he's very puffy at this time. He does try to cheat, but Earl admonishes him. But MSG start to chant for Bret Hart as Perfect locks in a sleeper. Bret fights up on the third arm drop, but this time Perfect reverses the crucifix into a Samoan style drop onto Perfect's side, onto Bret's side. Perfect goes to hit the perfect plex. No one has ever kicked out of that. I'm sure Hulk Hogan did.
Warrior did.
Did Warrior do? Yeah.
He did it to Survivor Series.
It's one
No
of
one's
those.
ever kicked out of it at SummerSlam for the Inter.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying.
In pink.
In pink. That's what he meant.
Bret goes through his routine.
Very specific.
Well, it's true, though.
Bret goes through his routine now as he hits atomic drops. Perfect slides across the ring on a hair toss into the ring post. Balls first. Did you hear Gorilla use the phrase suplex city?
Yeah.
Suplex City.
Yeah.
Bitch. Why don't you say that?
That would have been weird if Gorilla Monsoon had said that.
Fucking
To be fair, Roode's got to admonish him. I don't think Vince would have said anything, would he?
Bret gets a 2 on a suplex and then a small package. There's a leg sweep now for a 2, a backbreaker and a Bret rope elbow. Perfect with a roll up for a 2, and the crowd are really hot now. Bret works the legs, kick from under him twice. Coach tries to distract but gets a big right hand. Perfect kicks the middle ropes into the balls of Bret. There's a nice spot now as Perfect hits a 1 leg drop to the balls. He goes for a second, but he counters it into the sharpshooter, which I believe he tried on his wife to see whether it would work.
Yeah, that's what he
That's
said.
the
in his
story,
book,
yeah.
I think he says it in his book.
He's a very weird man, and he takes it serious.
Yeah.
Bret does.
Come here! We're going to do this whole fucking match.
That's some strange foreplay.
I'm gonna grab you by the hair and throw you balls first into that post. And Bret
Get the hell away from me, Bret.
Bret wins his first.
4 out of 10.
Bret wins his first.
I love
singles.
Bret. Why am I mocking?
He is brilliant. Jack, just give us your brief.
Your
overview.
praise.
Yeah, well, it's brilliant. I mean, it's Bret at his best. I mean, he's carrying
so
Perfect a little bit because he's hurt, but you wouldn't even... I mean, you know he's hurt, but you wouldn't know he's hurt, shall we say. It's probably one of Perfect's best matches as well when he's got a bad back.
Yeah, that sounds
Everything makes sense. Everything's clean, apart from the flop off the top, which is weird.
But I think it kind of worked, even though it wasn't obviously a botch
And I love
spot.
the finish as well with the leg drop reversed into the sharpshooter. Just gives him a different way of doing it.
Yep.
It does. Yeah,
Sam?
it was a really good match. Personally, I prefer the King of the Ring 93 match with the two because Perfect's a bit more healthier.
Yeah.
So I think that match is slightly better personally. But, I mean, you can't say anything else really.
Yeah.
Good match.
I mean, I will say, I actually thought the commentary was really good in the match as well. I thought Heenan and Piper, even though they were bickering, they still focused on the match in terms of the bickering. Not like Michael Cole and Lawler kind of bickering where they're fighting over their own storyline.
Over fucking Sonic drinks or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really good. The match itself was the perfect length, especially with Perfect's back. It couldn't have gone any see?
Perfect.
See what I did there? And the psychology was just tremendous, especially after the spot fest of our opening match. Seeing the load of psychology in the match was good. And Bret was really aggressive, which I think he needed to really cement
really
him and
push
give
him
him
over.
credibility as a top star. And let's face it, I mean, the crowd wanted Bret to win.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example to Vince McMahon of when sometimes just do what the fans want. It's fine just to do what the fans want.
People don't want red and yellow anymore, they want pink and black.
Exactly,
Look
we
at
all
it.
know that. We all know that.
Yes.
They don't want Colonel Mustafa in the main event.
Except Sid.
You want Sheik?
We want Sid.
It is very.
Sid and Bret.
It is really strange as a wrestling fan to consider that this was match 2 on a card that was main evented by Sergeant Slaughter in his 40s, Hogan pushing 40, Ultimate Warrior held up and don't want to be here no more, and Iron Sheik.
General Adnan's probably older than that.
Oh yeah, and he's a handicap.
He's the match made in hell.
Yeah, I bet.
He's the match booked in
bet it
hell.
was.
And Sid?
Who's selling for Adnan? What can you possibly get from that?
We've done that match, haven't we?
No,
thought we
we
did
skipped that one for the Warrior arc.
We skipped 91.
I thought we might do the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's probably the only match in the Warrior's run that we haven't really watched. Because we watched a lot of his run. Not obviously his earlier stuff, but We might go back for that. Match 3 then, Jack.
Match 3
Back to
is
TNA.
a knockouts match.
Yeah.
It is Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong from Final Resolution again, 2008.
So 3 years on from our opener.
Yeah.
And the tail.
Same pay-per-view.
I love Final Resolution.
Yeah, that's he's a mark for Final Resolution. Tail of the tape is played to hype up the knockouts division. Awesome Kong makes her way out, and Tenay puts over the stunned reactions of the crowd, which sort of cover they're a flat crowd at the moment. Gail Kim comes out to the most generic theme you will ever hear.
Yeah, I don't like the theme.
It is
It is
terrible.
Yeah, but even for
They did have
TNA
some good
standards,
themes.
Well,
TNA.
they had
I mean,
some
Awesome
good-
Kong's
Awesome
amazing.
yeah.
Oh shit! I mean, that's amazing.
Kong, but this is a pretty long feud, isn't it? Because this is like smack bang in the middle of like a
I think
year
he's
long.
still moving on.
Yeah, I think it probably is.
forever.
Forever. Kong barges Kim to the ground from the apron. We don't really hang about, straight into it. It is no DQ, we're told. As well, you would hope it's no DQ with some things that happen.
It's TNA.
Yeah, well, that's true. Kong clotheslines down Kim, who tries to clear the announce desk. The best bit of that though is Tenay's face. What's going on, you bastard?
He's got that bad foot.
I love that when he said that. Oh, Tenay, what a man! Kim survives a powerbomb and they brawl into the ring.
Is this Don West or is it Taz?
No, this is still Don West.
Still
I
Don
was
West.
trying to work out how long it is until Taz moves. I think it's about 2009
Yeah.
because it was just
Oh
before
yeah,
the
because
end of
Taz was
ECW.
probably
wasn't
on SmackDown War before he left with Jim Ross. And then
Yeah,
he
when
left.
when in ECW though he was on.
He was, but then they moved him to SmackDown with JR because everybody else fucked off.
Very cool screaming spot as Kong hair tosses Kim across the ring. So we're completely putting over the power of Kong. She throws Gail around the ring. There's a spinning back fist. What is that move called? Is it just called a spinning back fist?
Spinning back fist.
And it's, I would imagine, from Aja Kong in
Yeah.
because she used to do that as a finish, didn't she?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's it. No, it isn't the end.
That's the finish.
And Kim is tied into the ropes. It's been all Kong so far as Gail is slinged into the railings very viciously. Gail rallies as they brawl through the crowd and uses a bottle to bash the head of Kong. Kong throws her down some stairs though, and then charges her into some staging area. Kim now has some momentum and tosses Kong over the railings back around the ring. After being thrown shoulder first into the post, Kong gets straight back on top. She brings a chair in, but it gets it kicked back in her own face. Kim dives off the top onto Kong on the outside, but he's caught and dumped back inside. Kong hits the spinning back fist again, but it's not quite crisp. Kim, thankfully, rolls away from a sit-out splash because if she didn't, she would have been splashed. Fucking hell. But despite this little rally, is hit with a reverse sit-out bomb for a 2. Slick Johnson, it gets told off by Kong, and now Kong just power bombs him. He's definitely there because you know he is a referee who can take a bump, let's face it.
I'm sure they wrestle.
He looks
Against
like
AJ.
he looks like he could wrestle a bit. I
They
think.
were Shane some.
Well, she uses the chair on the ref rather than Gail Kim, who grabs it and lays in 3 shots to the head of Kong, sending her down. There's a frog splash, and the second ref runs out, which I think is Rudy.
Rudy Charles.
Rudy! And the crowd are really hot now. They have built this, the tension in the match has built the crowd with them. Kim now survives a choke slam, which shocks Kong. Rudy Charles is set up for a powerbomb, but Kim uses this distraction to roll up Kong, who has Rudy Charles sort of sit on her face. And this allows the 3 count and the win for Gail Kim. They do keep the match hot afterwards, though. Kong gets heat back and the locker room sort of stop them fighting each other. But yeah, thought it was pretty good. Jack, do you want to again?
I enjoyed it.
You did.
I know.
I'll tell you what, it's probably your favourite pay-per-view ever at the moment.
I know it's a surprise, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a brawl. It was different to anything
At the
women
time,
was doing in
Christ,
America.
2008.
In America, there was nothing like what
No.
TNA was doing. That was way ahead of the curve, and these two was a big reason for it.
Did
Well,
Kim-
the highest rated when they used to say the knockouts was the highest rated thing on TNA
Yeah,
at one point.
and quite rightly so. I mean, I don't know what was going on the rest of the show, but this was definitely compelling.
Brutal.
It was a compelling feud, you can tell that. And Kim, even though she gave a lot to Kong in terms of offense and stuff, she comes across as like someone who's got fire in the belly. And that sort of works.
The belly winner.
Was
The belly welly.
this the first match with him, or had they?
No, they fought.
They had fought before, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just building it. There's still more to come from it.
Oh, okay.
Mm. But I did really like it. I thought it was a good match. And did Gail Kim go back to WWE after this, or did
Yeah,
she
in
already-
2009,
a few years,
and then
How could they not have realised there was money in Gail Kim? Because she's a wrestler, for God's sake.
well,
But she's ugly, obviously, according to Vince. Sam?
I really like this match. I like these
Jesus
two.
Christ.
He's doing all right. You booked
it's
this
the,
card for Sam. So
it's how the women should really be booked in a way, and it's just the perfect facey monster kind of thing, and have the monster just destroy him to begin with. I would have had Kong win the belt.
Yeah,
I feel the finish was a bit.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
so-
I
Again,
don't want to just have a pin.
Yeah, or
That's
just
the
have to
point,
stop the match because it's like we call controller. Because what they hinting about
somebody coming in.
somebody coming in was that what's her name? I can see her, but I can't remember her name. It was cheerleader Melissa, but I was playing some Syrian ones for her.
oh
Some
yeah.
Syrian
We,
No, the one who was like
oh,
in the
so
veil,
she was
I
like a.
yeah, in the veil and stuff. But I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember her.
I can't remember her
I'm
name.
sure she
I
managed.
know her
to-
name, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, I'm sure that was probably what it was. So
It was her, yeah.
I don't think you need to add too much Gaga to Awesome Kong though, because she's like a big old, she looks like a badass.
I think
She's
it
gonna
was
kick it
probably
off.
just
to give
somebody
her a
who can be a
Mouthpiece.
Mouthpiece.
well, I can
manager,
take the
which-
bump and then Kong can.
Yeah, which I
That's
think
true, maybe.
Elevated her slightly a bit doing that. But,
But
yeah,
both
I really
of
like
these,
the match.
I mean, the thing that
I like these two a lot.
you realise that both of them were big misses for WWE, though. I know WWE's
slightly
run
different.
was difficult because obviously I think she got pregnant
Got
early on,
and miscarried.
so they had to sort of deal with that, which meant they dropped the mystique of Kong pretty
So they
quick.
just had to come out and say, I'm pregnant.
I ain't sure they should have done that. I
No,
know
they
obviously
just
they
had to-
couldn't have done, but just let her disappear and
Yeah.
keep the
Or have
mystique.
a beat people up and then just do a thing backstage saying we've suspended her.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Yeah.
keep the mystique
But
for her to come and
I know that was.
out the rumble.
I know. Poor Honeycomb. I know it was difficult for WWE with Kong, but I certainly think there was money on the table with both of these. So, match 4.
Match 4, tag match.
It
First
is.
tag match and
Yeah.
only tag match of the card.
Oh, spoiler.
It is DIY versus The Revival in a 2 out of 3 falls match from NXT Toronto 2016.
So far, you've had a pretty much 3 out of 3, at the very least, thumbs up. Maybe not strong thumbs up, but certainly some thumbs up from Sam. I have a half feeling
I
you
like
might.
the fact that I'm the barometer here.
Well,
Well-
you ate everything, so
yeah, if we can please you. And I know for a fact that one of these tag teams is a favourite of Sam.
Yes.
So we'll find that out at the end. DIY get a nice reaction as they head out. The Revival are out. I really like the Revival's theme. It's such a cool theme.
Yeah,
Suits them as well, doesn't it?
Fucking one they got at the moment.
Well,
Hey, tell me.
the one they've got at the minute is what sort of like a Midnight Express.
I know it's 80s.
I know, but that the one thing
I get that, and I do like that because I really like FTR, which
yeah.
but yeah, I do like that team. So I've got it.
They are brilliant. My only criticism with the FTR or the Revival is that sometimes you don't need to remind us that you're fans all the time. Like, I know they like Bret, and I know they like Midnight Express, and I know you appreciate wrestling. I get all that, but you are good at what you do. Just don't, you know what I mean? And I think that's with that theme as well. The new, I can tell that it's a homage to the 80s Midnight Express, but it is crap. Like, you would be better suited to a more heelish, more heelish sort of thing. But they are definitely shit-eating heels. They are the fucking horriblest people you would ever fucking hope to see. Tom Phillips tells us that the Revival are the first 2-time champions in NXT history. And tonight is 2 out of 3 falls match. The Air Canada Centre is absolutely packed.
I just couldn't, looking at Tommaso Ciampa, so I couldn't get used to him as a face.
Yeah,
because he's so much better as a heel.
And even now, when he's a face now, and he's more dishevelled. He's a
weathered.
Yeah, he's a bit less weathered. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
I'm just looking at it. I just think I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Dawson and Gargano start us off with a lovely mat work leading to a near fall by Johnny Wrestling. Dawson now with a cheap shot in the corner, and Ciampa makes the tag and takes down both of the Revival. There's nice tag work as Dash distracts and Dawson rakes the eyes of Ciampa. Ciampa is isolated now and the Revival have the pace dictated. Ciampa survives and makes a hot tag to Johnny. He backs both heels into the separate corner, eventually hitting the Bulldog clothesline combo to lay out both members. The sequence here for the first 4 is fucking brilliant. So Johnny is cornered. He springboards into Dawson only to be hit straight with the shatter machine for a 3, and I cannot do that sequence justice. It's such a crisp fall. I really liked it, and Johnny is completely in trouble. Can he recover? No, he can't. But Dawson mocks the crowd and pounds down on him, hitting a bouncing suplex for a 2. Revival completely on top now as Dawson rubs the forearm into the face of Johnny Gargano whilst in a leg bind. There's a backpack style submission. I don't even know what that's called.
Gory special.
Well, I always thought the gory special was the bomb.
There's a gory special bomb, and then there's a gory special.
Well, it's the gory special. There you go.
Chavo used to do it.
Yeah, it was Gory Guerrero's finish one.
I always thought it looked different when Chavo did it, though.
No, you just do it, and then if you do the submission one, you pull the arms down.
Yeah. But it looked like it would hurt, I must admit. Dawson heals it up, and we've got to ask him. That is a heel trait. Gargano keeps feeding his comeback. His hot tag is blocked. He hits an Inseguri mid-spinning DDT. Then the ref misses the hot tag. The crowd completely building into it. Lovely sequence again. The heart attack by the Revival, and Gargano just kicks out. Gargano again builds the hot tag on a spin out from a top rope back body drop, this time making the hot tag to Ciampa. Ciampa hits big knees to Dawson. There's a jumping Baymaster for a 2, multiple Germans by Ciampa, and a huge running knee, but only for a 2. Gargano recovers, and a double team leads to 2 crossbodies. Dawson is left inside though, and what did they call that kick? The double sort of Tajiri style kick.
I don't think it ever had the finish, the knee and the kick.
Yeah. Well, that's it. One's the knee, one's the shining wizard, and then one's a kick to the face, isn't it? And we are completely. They definitely didn't name it in this because Tom Phillips refers to it as DIY's finish. But yeah, it was. It is good. So we're down to one. We're down to 1 fall. It's 1-1. Ciampa and Dash Wilder now do a boo and a yay spot on big shots. Ciampa gets the better of it though and removes his shoulder pad, going for a spinning forearm. Dash dives out to avoid it, and Dawson is in now. The big spot fest now, which leads to a springboard DDT by Gargano for a 2. The amazing double team spot as Dash blocks a roll up, dives for the tag rope, which is brilliant psychology in itself, makes the tag. Dawson hits a German whilst Dash hits a European uppercut, and it only gets a 2. I mean, that spot was fucking unbelievable. Really, really good. Gargano again is our heat seeker in the heel corner. I mean, he is definitely the Marty Jannetty. He's gonna put all the heat. He's the Ricky Morton in here. He's gonna take all the heat. I think Ricky Morton's probably better than Marty Jannetty in terms of to be fair. But he brawls and punches his way out. He kicks Dash off the apron and schoolboys Dawson, but only for a 2. Dash brings the belt into play, and it leads to Dawson blocking a kick with the belt, so Gargano starts selling the leg. Inverted figure 4, which we're told beat them before. Is that right?
Yeah.
They did beat him before. Which again is brilliant storytelling, harking back to it. Johnny tries for the ropes. The crowd are completely mental as Johnny makes the ropes. The heels go for DIY's finish. Again, that's what Tom Phillips calls it. But Johnny ducks and dash kicks Dawson. Shatter Machine by DIY now. But Johnny can't quite crawl over to pin him quick enough due to his leg injury, and Dawson breaks up the pin, which again is brilliant psychology. Dawson now is caught holding the tights after suckering in Johnny. Dash takes the leg out, and he takes both legs out from Johnny Gargano in the ring. There's quick pins by both men, loads of near falls, and it leads to a double submission spot. Again, I know I've definitely seen it done since as well before, where both heels are telling each other not to tap. I think we saw it in the opening tag match at Revolution in AEW. I'm sure they did a similar thing. No, it was with MJF and Jericho, and I'm sure both of them was telling each other not to tap. But I might be wrong. In fact, it didn't, because it definitely finished with the Meltzer driver.
Exactly, psychology.
But they do tap out, and our new tag team champions are the DIY, and we know where that leads afterwards. But do you want to say that you thought that was shit? Do you regret match 4?
I thought it was very good. It was very, very good. It's one of the best tag matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can't think of many more. I mean, there's that Paul Romer and
Ardman.
the nasties. I mean, fucking hell.
Right.
Nearly killed me.
That dude. Just the first fall of this compared to that match.
Yeah, but there was the Powers of Pain thing from
UWN. Oh God, it's so good. I mean, it is so good. I don't even know what else to say.
Both teams get it.
They didn't get a 5-star. This didn't. I can't believe.
What a surprise!
I can't believe that. Not that anyone should care, but this is fucking amazing. I mean, there isn't many better tag matches you'll ever see than this. The spot where he leaps to grab the tag rope. He didn't need to. No one needed it, but he leaped to do it so he could get tagged, so he could get in and use the uppercut. Brilliant. Then
that's their whole thing. They purposely use it.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to use it. Why wouldn't you want that to be? Because that is another tool for heels to cheat.
Exactly. I love that. And so when they don't use it, it matters more to the crowd because they do normally use it. And then the spot where both of them use each other's finish, which was fantastic, and the near fall, which was brought about by Johnny selling his injury to give him an out, ultimately keeping the Shatter Machine strong as a finish. It's just so good.
I thought this was the main event.
No, it's the third match. It was the third match of a 5-match card, because I think this is where Samoa Joe beats Shinsuke
for the belt.
Because they swapped it there between the two.
But it could.
Bobby Roode debuted. This was his first takeover. They fight Ty Dillinger. Canada.
Well, this could have main evented any. Well, this could have main evented.
Well, I know. Was it the rematch they had was with AOP and they had the ladder match?
AOP won the opening contest in this because I think they were building up them as the next. Because the Revival must go to the.
They go to the main roster not long after this, I'm sure, don't they?
And then they ruin them completely.
They go after Mania, don't they? The fight New Day.
How did he get this wrong? How did Vince get this wrong?
He doesn't like tag teams. Except the New Day, because there's 3 of them.
I don't get it. I mean, they're just so good. I mean, DIY are tremendous, but you can see
you ain't done much better with.
You can see that there is value in splitting them both up because of the heat magnet that is Gargano, and then the evil bastard that Ciampa becomes. I don't think there's quite enough money in splitting up the Revival because they are just such a good heel tag team.
I'm a proper team tag team that there ain't really many of nowadays.
There's no one like them. No one. I can't think of a single tag team that's got their DNA. It's just brilliant. Do you want to add your final?
There's nothing more I can say really. I just really like the Revival or FTR.
Yep. Well, there you go.
Footer.
Sub main event then, Jack.
Match 5
That's right.
is from WrestleMania 14.
It was the sub main event.
It was as well.
Oh,
It was Kane versus The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Featuring Pete Rose.
Well,
Featuring Pete Rose.
well.
Which,
Here we go.
kind of took away slightly.
Well, you'll hear my thoughts in a minute. So, yes, I mean, need we even add that this is probably the best told story in wrestling history in terms of a build? There's very few
It's just
builds.
pure
Theatre.
everything that wrestling
Oh.
can get right in terms of characters and gimmicks.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
All
that-
the entrance as well with Kane and Taker with the Druids and the Fortuna.
Oh,
theme
Christ,
and all
yeah,
that.
the
big collar.
entrances.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
The
The start.
Just
collar,
the entrance is better than a lot of shit that we've watched.
Better than most of that show.
the
Well,
one
yeah.
where is it Nash that says with
Yeah,
Sullivan for this mania? He goes, "Did you feel that, Nash? The water just got colder after this mania because they all knew we fucked
We
up."
fucked
We
it,
had an iceberg last night. It was called
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
To be fair, WrestleMania 14 is good when you watch it.
I think it's more pomp and circumstance though, because if you actually do it like we do it, where you blow for blow, it, and we probably will say that now as well coming up. If you blow for blow a lot of the matches, you're ignoring the spectacle because it was the reset of WWE, I think.
Yeah.
And you can tell it was basically, this is what we're going to do from now on.
Yeah.
This is what,
Yeah.
for a while, we're going to be this. We're going to be tombstoning Pete Rose. We're going to be fast counting Mike Tyson. We're going to be having shit tons of fucking quick tag team matches that no one understands at the start with LOD randomly in it with helmets. That's just going to happen. You're going to have to fucking come along with
a
it.
lot of gimmicks. There's a dumpster match.
Yeah. But yes, the build for the
And
match is brilliant. It does feature a lot of sore throats, though. The build, I like Undertaker's sore throats when he's shit screaming at Kane. I will walk
Fucking hell.
and then we get a very odd spot where Pete Rhodes is cutting a proper heel promo. I mean, he's like
What
seven.
a promo.
How bad? Yeah.
How bad? What a
With his
man.
proper.
You couldn't bend over and pick it up.
Such a boy.
Is it big or does he look like Hammerhead from Spider-Man? With his ears?
He doesn't mean. More so after what happens. He gets a.
Just think this got him in the Hall of Fame.
I think the only issue that I have is that obviously you're waiting for that Kane, and Kane's theme, it's
Yeah.
fucking amazing, comes out. But because Pete's done such a good job of being a heel, Kane is now a face.
And it's too much of like a comedy thing.
Yeah.
Why have you having this monster that you've built up?
It would have
for
been better at least if it was a
Tombstone, big
sympathetic.
baseball
If it was a sympathetic celebrity that had got tombstone by Kane, it might have added and dumped on the heat. They must have known, but I suppose it's very attitude-esque
Yeah.
in that it don't really matter. This is what happens now. And,
Next year you're going to be a chicken. Kane will beat you up then.
the entrances to Kane and Undertaker, which give it a huge match feel. I mean, that's such a good entrance in it. With Taker's Druids coming out to Fortuna, and then
Instead of the just Druids.
just brilliant. So the legendary face-off between Kane and Undertaker happens early on in the match, and we're shown that Kane is bigger than Undertaker at this point. Bigger in many senses of the word. He's a chunky monkey here, isn't he?
He's thick.
He's proper thick. Taker lays in big
He's a
shots.
slab of meat.
He lays in big shots and corners Kane. Kane shrugs off most of the shots but can't keep Taker down with a big boot. Kane hangs Taker on in the corner and lays in big shots. Taker big bumps on an Irish whip in the corner, doing a bit like Bret. I mean, he hits the corner as well, to be fair. Kane suplexes Taker onto the top rope and then from the top turnbuckle lays in a big forearm. Kane's completely on top, completely dominating. And I don't know whether that helps the crowd or whether, again, they've had the pop to the match because Pete Rose got to
Pete Rose is gone.
Because I do feel that the crowd have just burnt out a little bit during this whole thing. There's a very strange sort of electric chair drop by Kane onto Undertaker.
Yeah, that is a bit
Straight when he falls forward.
Yeah, I don't think they ever did that again.
No.
Paul Bearer distracts the ref. Not sure why Kane uses the steel steps, but he does anyway. Paul Bearer distracts the ref, but I'm not quite sure why, because Kane uses the steel steps. And it's so obvious that he's used some steel steps right next to the ref. So
What was that noise?
He jumps.
I just moved him.
Taker is hurt now on the outside, and we get another steel step shot in front of the referee. I do like Paul Bearer laying a clothesline and kicks into Taker, though.
What a man.
He's a proper little gremlin here.
Brilliant.
Big choke slam inside by Kane, but Kane picks Taker up on the 3, which is weird. There's inside, he locks in a sleeper hold. So it's a bit like Nails and Bossman, this, where you're thinking, well, he's waited for this for all his life to prove that he can beat the Undertaker. He has beat the Undertaker, but now I'm going to sleeper hold him instead. Taker eventually fights back. Taker dumps Kane over the top rope and big boots Kane to the ground. Kane sort of throws Taker through the Spanish announce table on his dive, though. It is the big bump, and it's definitely added to by Hugo Savinovich sort of falling off his chair.
I love that. He couldn't resist doing the flop. Pushes Tito up and everything. Throws his head in the air. It's brilliant.
Tito had got up and did the flying forearm on Kane.
Oh, brilliant. Kane now hits a top rope clothesline. Taker is out this time. The sequence leads to a big kick out by Taker from Kane's tombstone. That does get a big pop. There's big punches now and eventual choke slam to Kane, which, to be fair, Kane takes a lot better than Mr. Hulk Hogan in a few years. Tombstone is signalled and hit. Well, sort of. Jesus Christ.
You better have a strong
The first tombstone that he hits to Kane lands on Kane's
he
head.
ain't set him, has he? But
he ain't probably set him.
I'm going to drop him. I better just do it.
Yeah, so he sort of he doesn't go full Taker in the
does he drop him
tombstone.
on that, or is
He
it when
just sort
Shane
of
has
moves
to...
sideways.
Sideways his head. But I think
that.
because Taker didn't quite give it full force on the drop, Kane's still alive.
Yeah. Kane is alive!
He does kick out, which I'm pretty sure must have been other than Mr. Hogan, who no-sold it completely.
I don't think Hogan kicked out, he just got up after
yeah. I don't think many people, if anybody, has kicked out.
Yeah, it was very protected, so...
So
if
that's
everybody's going to do it.
but then when you consider that he hits a second one and he kicks out again, that itself is quite impressive. The crowd do feel fatigued a bit, and Kane shows that he's fatigued a bit because he's very heavy.
I'm knackered.
The tombstones, they look fucking painful though. The big clothesline by Taker is amazing. The third tombstone is the best of the 3, and he has to hook the leg, which again is really good psychology. Kane still kicks out on the 3 as well, which again is clever psychology. And Taker wins, but he sells the exhaustion, and Kane just beats the shit out of him after the match with a steel chair, and hits another tombstone to leave Taker down. Kane leaves completely dominant, but has lost the match. Jack, did you like it?
Pure wrestling theatre. It's what Vince wants.
Yes,
basically, it is. Pure wrestling theatre from 2 over-the-top characters.
Yes.
Is the match brilliant? Probably not. But is it everything that you would want? Yes. I loved it.
I think the biggest problem with this is not so much the blow-to-blow. There's a few sloppy spots. The electric chair shot I could have done without.
First match.
I could have done without Kane picking him up on the 3, which I know that Taker's going out his way to put Kane over, and I get that. I just think you do that anyway with him kicking out the 3 tombstones and then the psychology at the end. You didn't need to have that, because if then Kane doesn't do anything massively aggressive after it, he just looks like an idiot.
Well, there's that rumour that apparently after this match, Kane was going to go. That was it. They only had the Kane gimmick, and after the Mania match, they was going to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think that's just a rumour and not true.
Well, I don't think.
He did come from Ben's best friend.
He must be talking crap because whoever road agent did this, how can you do that? Because Kane's left.
Kane's good now,
Kane-
but it's on
So
top.
whether the chain's obviously on the way when they realise they've got something with
I'm
it,
sure maybe
as opposed to
this,
at the very beginning, Kane's coming in, he's got to lose Taker Mania.
and this is the way that they booked Taker for 3.5 years. Well, bring a big man in, Taker beats big man.
We thought Hogan did it all.
Yeah. But and I can get that, but Kane as a character in this story needed to have, and it lasted. God, they were still fighting.
Well, that set him on fire in the
Fighting
next
forever.
Yeah,
Still fighting there.
but yeah, very
Saudi Arabia. The next.
Oh dear!
I tell you what, I hated really looking back, and even though you couldn't retcon it out of wrestling history because it is a great spot. But I think it's the match suffered because of the big pop at the start of the match.
No, I haven't. It's amazing.
It is a brilliant spot.
It is a brilliant spot. But it's the
How bad?
It's the wrong person to be doing it.
Take a chord.
Austin could have come in and just did Shamrock. Oh, Shamrock could have been.
You know,
Kane,
because then when Pete Rowe goes, and then he goes, whoa!
No,
he does it 3 years in a row or whatever.
Yes, I know, but it's the wrong match with the wrong person to have him come out.
I
Because
agree.
he was meant to be like the ring announcer.
I don't mind you
It's
doing
amazing.
it. I don't mind you doing it, but it's the wrong match. I don't even mind it being
that's-
Kane.
yeah.
I just think it's the wrong match
Nah,
for
brilliant.
it. And
Let's together.
I honestly think the match suffered because the crowd was flat, and maybe that was the way that Mania had been. It was a different,
road dog.
yeah, and that
awful,
was a fucking.
But the dumpster.
That was a dumpster fire of a match.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
I like that match.
It was brilliant. I'm just saying you can understand why it burns out the crowd.
Mania 40.
But yeah, I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I can pick holes in this more so than any others.
You can, but I mean, these two, this is probably the best they've worked together. When you watch every single Taker v Kane match, this is probably the best one.
I think they
When
don't.
you
I
watch
don't even think it's a clash of stars as much as they almost
it's
fight like each other. Like
It's basically, it's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like you're watching Taker v Taker from SummerSlam '94, except the other Taker is bigger,
Not changed.
not changed,
yeah.
and slightly better.
It's almost like you're watching Billy Gunn versus Bart Gunn. Like
Yeah.
I don't know
real-
about that.
that should have been the real Mania.
Oh,
14
so
match.
so in an
Gunn
alternate universe in AEW, you've got the Bart Club.
Bart is alive, Billy.
So that's his real name. Mate. It's gotta be Bart Gunn is the real gun.
That's gotta be Bart. Let's have a pick-me-up spot, shall we, before our main event? One thing we did do to add a bit of colour to your card is allow a momentary promo segment or spot. What have you chosen?
I have chosen the Festival of Friendship from Raw on the 13th of February 2017.
Oh, what
It's
could
like-
it be?
It's just
Oh, never mind it. No.
it's just this whole thing. Right. So
Vince, what have you
a
done?
bit of background: Jericho and Kevin Owens have been partners for a while now. Jericho has been helping Kevin Owens, our Universal Champion, keep his belt, and Kevin Owens is heading to Saudi Arabia. No, he's heading to Fastlane. Is that
Yes,
right?
Fastlane.
Yes, on your birthday, to defend the gold against Goldberg. But before
Oh,
that,
it's a shame we never got to see him.
before that, Jericho introduces the greatest extravaganza, the Festival of Friendship. A huge pyro goes off. We hear some Vegas-style music as some belly dancers walk out. Jericho, in his sparkly hat and his Vegas-style jazz music with his cheesy grin, is the fucking most amazing sight you could ever see. He introduces his best friend, the Universal Champion, Kevin Owens, who looks less enthused
Fed up.
than Jericho dancing to the ring as well. Oh God, I was creasing when that happened. Jericho tells us that he's got a lot of gifts to give to Kevin Owens to prove his friendship to him. Jericho connected with Ralph Guggenheim, the premier Norwegian minimalist maximalist art
What?
sculpture, and he unveils a statue of two entwined golden people Jericho says it cost him £7,000. Kevin Owens looks literally pissed off, but he sees the hurt in Jericho's eyes and decides against being honest and says it's a steal. We now see a piece of art being unveiled, the creation of Kevin instead of the creation of Adam. I mean, Christ, the crowd are loving it. They're just greasing.
Was Jericho US champ at this point?
Yeah. Jericho as Adam and Kevin as God. I mean, what? Kevin says, I can't hang that at home. I've got kids. And he says, you've got no pants on. It's art.
Pants.
You don't need pants for art.
That's amazing, that line.
The greatest line.
It's art, you don't need pants.
Oh, God. Jericho now introduces Friendship the Magician. Friendship gets booed.
Where's your
He pulls out ribbons from his mouth, then draws a rose. Kevin Owens shits on him, saying his 9-year-old can do the same trick, to which Jericho agrees. He's not impressed either. So furious is he that Friendship the Magician, who just made the list. Oh, brilliant. The crowd pop. Jericho throws him out. Jericho promises one of his gifts is going to be to take out Goldberg tonight, and he calls out Goldberg. Goldberg going to get it! Well, he does get it, but it's Goldberg, which is amazing. Gets his ass kicked by Kevin Owens, which really pisses Kevin Owens off. He thought the point of all of this was to jump Goldberg together. Instead, he got Gilberg. Jericho gets serious.
Gilberg must love Goldberg.
Oh, the money is
I got more money.
He said he's had the greatest last year in WWE. The last year in WWE has been his favourite, thanks to Kevin Owens. Jericho promises that he'll always have Kevin's back. Jericho says that he loves Owens and he'll always have his back. Kevin says he loves him too. He says he got him a little something. Owens hands him a gift. Jericho loves it. It's a new list. Picks it up and he says, how come his name's on it? We see the list now, says the list of KO. Jericho sees it after the crowd have, because there's like, whoa, what a spot! And Kevin Owens beats the living shit out of Jericho. Trashes the set, beats down.
This in a way.
Beats down Jericho. There's a powerbomb onto the apron and he ends the assault with a, I hate you, and tosses him into the flat screen TV. Wrestling's complete now, you know what I mean?
But he did need the Titanic theme when he lifted it up.
I can't believe how good that is. I just cannot. And how was this not the main event for Mania?
We knew Goldberg.
I get that.
Roode and Taker, wasn't it?
I get that there's money in Goldberg. Brock, there's no doubt that they am
Don't
bigger.
need the belt. Though,
It didn't need the belt, and this story is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this segment is brilliant.
It's probably the best thing of that year. This segment.
I think it's probably the best thing of the last 5 years, arguably.
In a way, this match, this feud that Vince fucked up, caused AEW.
Yeah, because he said he left. And
he left after being second on the main card, so he went to New Japan, which caused Tony Khan to go, fuck Fulham, let go with it.
I just can't believe how good it is. And I assume it was heavily Jericho's idea, predominantly.
Triple H they want to do it because Vince were there.
And Triple H,
they think it would work. And Jericho, at the one point they were going to do it, and Jericho was very adamant that they should do it, and then they did it. And it was very, very, very good.
I don't care what audience you're trying to appeal to. This will work with all audiences.
Everybody will enjoy that.
Kids will love it. Adults will love it. Smarky fans will love it.
Goofy Jericho.
It's just
goofy.
And it fit with that Jericho character. I mean, he literally is cartoon-like at that point. And he's got a bloody list.
Come up with a list and all the stuff at the beginning. It was brilliant, and then they just ruined it.
Within 3 weeks.
Jericho should have won the Rumble, and you could have built on that as
I think if Owens had just beat Goldberg, And then Jericho comes back after you got the ready-made fight.
That's the match at Mania.
Goldberg could have lost it because of Brock. That is what it is. It just writes itself again. It's such an easy booking. Jericho Owens was the best feud that they had. It's like what they're doing now with Naomi and Sonya.
That's the best feud.
That is the best feud. If that doesn't lead to a Mania match, then they're stupid because it's the best feud that they've got within the women's division. And sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah,
whoever it is, just put what the best feud is on the top. That's all we want to see.
Wrestling's easy.
It is easy. Main event then, Jack. I'll throw to you.
Main event time.
It
is Ric Flair versus Terry Funk in an I Quit match from Clash of Champions 9.
Yes, it is. This is off the back of the trilogy of matches that Flair had with Steamboat. At the end of that, because they had to have a decisive winner.
Yeah.
They had 3 judges, one of which was Terry Funk.
Yes.
And he sort of intimated that he wanted a title match, didn't he, with Flair, who sort of blew him off. So he just pile drived him onto a table.
That's what you get, you stinking pig.
They killed everybody.
Oh God, what?
That invented hardcore, according to Ric Flair.
I'm not quite sure it invented hardcore because I'm sure I was going to say, I'm sure if he went to Puerto Rico, he would know what hardcore was. Flair cuts an into-camera promo building up the power of the I Quit. Basically saying it would discredit him and they wouldn't be able to show their face again. Once upon a time in the West, the man with a harmonica plays as Terry Funk.
What an entrance.
It's a brilliant theme, isn't it? It's such a fitting...
Funk.
Yeah, it
Here
just
comes
works.
this mad bastard with this sort of calm sort of
harmonica sort of theme. It's brilliant.
And then he's swinging at fans.
Well, I just love it.
It's not different. It was Dory come out.
Obviously, NWA built their reputation off the back of the contrast between Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
But the contrast between Ric Flair and Terry Funk still works very well.
Yeah.
It does,
The class and the pomp and circumstance of Space Odyssey playing as Ric Flair.
They're both
enters.
mental. Just one's a bit classy and the other one's
one's holding a shoe.
and a flaming brand.
My shoe costs more than your house. What a feud. Flair gets fireworks. There's a strange Chariots of Fire. Briefly plays as well, randomly.
Yeah.
And the one thing that WWE clearly did better than NWA and WCW is the production value.
Yeah.
I mean, if they could get he could never compete. And showing the crowd the way they do, it doesn't shoot right. It looks more empty than it probably was.
Make a 5,000 arena look like 50,000.
Yeah, and they make a 50,000 arena look like 5,000, which probably sums them up. Funk is chopped to the outside, Funk back inside, but again it's chopped down. Back to the outside, and Funk is chopped down. There's the welts on Funk's chest are already evidence. Chokes by both men, and the aggression is clear to see. Neither of them are bothering to do drop tail holds. Funk now starts to get some offense with a big headbutt. Flair goes for a chop, tries to chop himself back into it, but Funk is told to stay on him by his manager, Gary Hart. Didn't realise Gary Hart was his manager.
Yeah, he managed him and Mutter and somebody else.
Well, we'll find out with the last person. He does just that with beating him down with left hands on the outside. Funk asks if Flair quits before getting into a game of punchy punch, choppy chop. Funk demands the microphone and he pounds punches onto Flair. We miss the atomic drop spot though, as we sort of just go into the crowd randomly.
A random cut because it was coming. You could see it was coming, and they just go cut to the crowd.
Yeah, stupid.
What are you doing?
Flair hits a net breaker. Flair rallies now and he's really vicious. He chops and punches Funk on the outside and around the guardrail. Gary Hart distracts Flair as he demands Funk says it, and this allows Funk to recover and get the advantage. He hits a swinging neck breaker. Funk tells Flair to remember the neck and tells him to quit before he hurts him. Funk hits a pile driver, but Flair still won't quit. Flair is still beaten down, and now the pile driver onto the concrete on the outside. Funk grabs a wooden table, but he's sent into the wood by Flair. I mean, it's not a gimmick table. It's fucking thick as fuck. The intensity of the chops now, and the fight starts to feel real as Flair tosses Hart out of the way. Funk is dumped onto the guardrail balls first. There's an atomic drop, and now Flair works over the legs of Funk. Funk tries to stay up with punches and chops. Flair jumps on a hobbling Funk. That was brilliant, that was. He just sort of jumped on his back. Brilliant.
Oh, fucking hell.
Bends down and suplexes Funk from the outside in. Funk battles and escapes the figure four as we see a banner. Did anyone see this? A banner that read WHOOOO.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's not what he says.
Whoa!
Funk is taken down.
Whoa!
And the figure four is locked on. Funk says he'll never quit. Funk has never quit before, and he's not quitting now. Gary Hart is completely furious as Funk quits, and Flair is announced the winner. He does sort of sell that his leg's snapping.
Oh, I'm breaking my leg!
Breaking my leg.
he does that a lot, though, with his eye.
I liked as well the
Oh,
fact that
man.
they put over that Funk said, if you beat me, I'll shake your hand, and then Flair makes him shake his hand, which sort of turns him face because then Gary Hart cheap shots Funk. Which brings out the Japanese attack. It's Mutter and Dragon Master.
Dragon Master.
God, Dragon
And
that
they-
will hurt, was it?
No, I don't know who it was, but yeah,
Oh.
he wasn't quite of the level of Mutter. They attack until Sting makes his way out in his suit pants. Luger is out, but he's a heel. He tries to gets into like a shoving match with a fan, trying to steal a chair. It's complete chaos. He clocks Sting with a chair. The Japanese and Luger are beating down Sting, Flair, and Funk, which is a very good end to the show. Little long, maybe the chaos at the end, but it build. This is a clash in it, so it's building to.
Yeah, it's like an in your house kind of thing.
Just your main event.
I think it's brilliant because it is, pure wrestling theatre, as I've said before. Terry Funk, mad. Ric Flair, not working like normal with holds and all that, just being aggressive because he's got to be. And then Funk, remember your neck, calling him a pig, them just fighting and brawling. It don't feel like two wrestlers, it just feels like a fight.
They're trying to kill each other.
Which is what it should be.
you
And
imagine
then
a
Flair
quick match?
wins with his finish, which puts over the finish that he
Finally,
can't break.
he
Oh
cannot.
my God, I
First
would
time
with it.
in 20 years, the figure four has gone over.
There is something very unique in wrestling history about this match. You want to know what it is?
Unique.
Yeah, for both men, both Ric Flair and Terry Funk.
First world title match together, first on paper.
Something to do with I Quit.
First 5-star match for both men. It was given 5-star.
Oh, what a...
So,
You
yeah,
did never
very
get
first.
like the Starcade with
Nope.
Harley Race or
No,
anything?
this is the very first Ric Flair 5-star. And Ric Flair's only got like 4 or 5, even though he's a Ric Flair mark.
Yeah.
And Terry Funk, I mean, Jesus Christ, Terry Funk. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was very southern. Like Vince would have vomited.
It is very
Hulk up, brother!
There's no spots, but it's very hard hitting. And I know you could really just say, well, all it is punches and chops and brawls.
But in all honesty, if you want to sell it as it's real,
Yeah,
that's
what
what
it
you
would
do.
be.
yeah, yeah.
Flair jumping
Felt
on his
real.
Yeah,
I love that.
Oh, bloody hell.
The only thing I probably wouldn't have turned Funk because I think he is just a legitimate heel, but I do like the fact that, look,
He's a man of honor.
yeah, exactly. If he loses that honour, then he's just a shitty, sneaky heel, and he's better than that. He's better than that. I thought very, very solid. Very, very solid main event. I really enjoyed it. And Flair, I think, is peak here. This is peak Flair.
It is.
Like
Yeah,
89,
he's
90,
gonna-
he's no better.
The only thing I would say with this, but it's sort of like a double thing. Maybe a little bit of blood, but because it's the South,
Yeah.
mate, and it's an I Quit match.
It happened in the same.
Same.
It happened in the South, but it's like an I Quit match. It needed it, but at the same time, not having it helped.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one.
I like the fact that, like Jack said, I like the fact that it was a hold that got it over. I think if it had got to the point where he blooded him so much that my eye, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it would have been a bit Memphis like that. I think this is like he's out wrestled you at the end. You've had a brawl and he's out wrestled you with a hole.
Ow.
And Terry Funk being the honourable heel has to shake his hand because of it. And Gary Hart being a bastard means he's going to turn on Funk.
Well, fuck you then.
And he is a big bloke, isn't he, Gary Hart?
He is,
You really realise how fucking tall he is. which is the reason why he didn't work in WWE. Because I don't care what anyone said.
He's too tall.
He's far too tall. But
Kneel down. He has to be kneeling all the time.
yeah. But he was a really good manager. Like he was a very, very good manager. Right then. Well, there you go. That's your pay-per-view done. I'll just throw to
What's
you
it called?
first.
I don't know. Birthday bash.
That's very southern. I'll throw to you, Sam. Did you think that was a credible pay-per-view in the whole?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You've got Sam's approval.
Now CZW Insight.
We will still treat it as we always do with the round table, so quite rightly so. We'll start with Sam. I'll leave you till last.
Okay.
Match of the pay-per-view.
Gal can be awesome.
Well, I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect that.
Did I?
I went for the Revival and DIY.
Yeah, I would have gone for the second match.
Worst match?
Probably the X Division, just because it's not my taste personally.
That's reasonable. I went for Kane and Undertaker purely on the basis that if I was really lining up blow for blow, there was more holes in that.
I would have gone for the Knockouts match as the worst one for me.
What?
But I like them all. So
You hate women!
That's you. The worst one.
Yeah.
But it would have to be that.
Okay, MVP. God, there's plenty to choose from.
I mean,
the Revival.
That's a brilliant choice. I can't argue with that. But it is Jericho.
I mean, it probably is Jericho.
Well, I mean, look, I can tell you. You got Don West, you got Jericho, you got Gargano, you got AJ Styles, you got Funk,
Paul Bearer.
You got Paul Bearer. There's so many good performances in the whole pay-per-view. I think I would give it Jericho because I will never get over that face that he pulled when he had that hat just as he's coming out. It's just amazing. He just cracks me up every time. I do think Gargano's... I mean, the bloody babyface work in that.
He's a pure babyface.
He's so good in that match. And AJ Styles, again, just really legitimised the first match. So I had those three. But
I'd go with Jericho, but I just do love Don West. Every time I watch TNA and I hear Don West, I think he's just amazing. Makes you care about everything.
You can't not.
David Young comes out for a shit match, and it's like, it's the best thing. Oh, you're kidding me! Oh my god! It's fucking amazing.
And we've got to do it.
David Young beating Ray.
This is explosive.
I've never seen this before. It's a neck breaker.
And we've got to do it. LVP. It's hard, really hard. I think.
Hard.
I am going to do it, and Jack will hate me for
You're
it.
going to say Kane.
No, I'm going to say Pete Rose because
you know what?
I
I was
thought Pete
thinking
Rose
that.
spoiled the match. I love the spot. But I honestly believe he spoiled the match.
I was thinking Kane or Pete Rose because it shouldn't have happened with them because he's your new monster that you've just built up. Oh, get X-Pac out to the
You can't get X-Pac.
Billy Gunn. Actually, X-Pac and debut. He on debut. Billy Gunn, get him out.
Oh, a lot of shit. I'm going for. I'm just going to go for the coach.
Yeah, I can
true.
I can go with that as well.
Yeah.
I can definitely go with that.
Mr. Perfect singlet.
Yeah, it really
For
did.
Rick.
Mr. Perfect back. I thought that again added to Bret's intensity, but there you go. Fantasy card time then. We, as Jack is a Pisces, you are.
I thought you were going to say I'm a fish.
You are a fish.
I identify as a fish.
Well, you are. You are. According to astrological people, you are a fish. But what we did, and we have been, it's not easy, so I can tell you beforehand, this is going to be very puntastic. And also, it may feature things that, if you want to be snarky about it, aren't legitimately fish. But
I think
either way,
to keep it at least a fish.
it's sea creatures, people in the sea and fish-like creatures. 6 matches. Sorry, I do apologise. But I haven't got a whale.
Whales and mammals. God damn it.
Oh, I didn't have a whale then.
That's all
I
right.
didn't have a dolphin either. I did look for a dolphin.
Well, the dolphin.
Dolphin. Yeah, but fins. You know, there's a lot
Fins
of...
him on a lot of things.
But yes, I have a 6-match card. I'm going to leave Jack till last. This is his podcast. He should have the main event to himself.
Oh,
so, very good. I'm going to throw to you first, Sam, for your first match.
Right, my first match is Aldo Montoya,
Yeah,
the Portuguese man of war,
no doubt.
Jellyfish, versus from the War Raiders, Rowe.
Yep, can't argue with that. He is
That was one of the first ones I thought of.
It is a strange match, though.
Raven.
I do not care. I only had a few matches.
No,
I'm putting over Aldo Montoya.
No,
He's a yellow jellyfish.
Yeah.
Putting Aldo Montoya over Raven Rowe.
Well,
I would as
yes.
well.
You disgust me.
My first
Now
match
handsome.
is really was the last. I could really struggle to get this. It's Ricky Morton versus Sparky Plug Bob Holly. Do you know what they've both got in common?
They're both born in March.
No, they've both
Something
got
to do with
mullets, which is a fish,
and
and
mullet.
it's a mullet on a pole match.
Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
Mullet?
And the best mullet, the one who's rocked it the longest, is obviously Mr. Morton, so he's going over.
I got very confused with that.
My first match is Shark Boy v Gilbert.
No one arguing those two.
Gil? Oh, bloody hell.
Gills. And Shark Boy is going out.
Yeah.
My next match is Shark,
Yes.
the Shark, versus Ron Bass. Largemouth Bass.
Average.
Average. That was how I come up with it. I was thinking of that. I thought, oh, Ron Bass. I'm putting over old John Tenter, who's not a fish. But
Well,
he is.
I know there's going to be a lot of repetition, but I'm bumping my my sub-main event to my second match, which features the Shark versus Ron Bass.
Oh, yeah.
And distinctly average Ron Bass will go over, I think.
Well, I'll book my event to my second match, and it's the Shark versus another Bass. It's an intergender match. It's Nicole Bass.
Oh, what a match!
Oh, see.
What a match! Do the right thing. Double count out.
Double apathy.
Piss break.
My next one, and I'm not proud of this, but I've got it. It's Alex Shelley
Yes.
Shellfish.
versus Sting. Stingray.
Hey.
Stingray. Sting just a fish.
Stingray.
I'm point Stingo.
I didn't even get Sting. My next match is Aldo Montoya, who is a jellyfish. Don't ever forget that versus Shark Boy, because I think they might blend more as opponents rather than Rowe.
Oh,
And,
God.
I'm putting over Shark Boy because God, we love Shark Boy. Did we see Shark Boy when we went to TNA?
Yes, we did in that X Division match.
What a boy!
Match number 3 is the Rainbow Express.
Oh, you bastard.
Rainbow Trout versus El Hijo del Fishman and Fishman. So, Fishman and his son.
Yeah.
Who are fish.
Yeah, there's no arguing.
And El Hijo del Fishman and Fishman go over.
You wait till moment. It's a handicap match
Yes.
because I couldn't think of another tag team. So fuck it. It's Rainbow Express.
Yes.
Rainbow Trout versus Big Daddy Shirley Crabtree.
Yeah. That's a brilliant match as well.
Yes. And I'm putting over Big Daddy.
Well, you would
Oh,
go
God.
over.
Exactly.
Yeah, taking a pin from Bruce.
Yeah, he's taking a bump.
My next match is Murloc, who's in
Who?
Chikara.
Murloc?
He is a fish. Like that
I've
is
not
his
seen
gimmick.
Oh.
Versus Gilbert. And I'm going to put over Murloc. Look him up. He's a fish.
My next match is the Battle of the Finns. It is Finn Balor versus Finley.
Oh,
And Battle of the Irish. I'm going to put Finley over.
Irish fish.
I'm going to put Finley over.
My next match is Bobby Fish versus Nick Bockwinkel.
What?
Winkle?
Winkle is a fish.
Winkle,
Yeah,
yes, it's
Winkle is a fish, yeah.
small edible sea snail. I looked that up.
You
I
quoted
don't know, it's Winkle and real.
It is a small edible sea snail.
All right,
Don't
Carol
put it over
Vorderman.
Bobby Fish.
Brilliant. My sub-main event is Bobby Fish and Adam Cole Lee, because Coley is a fish. Versus Hit Rowe, because of Rowe. Top Dollar also played for the Miami Dolphins. So if you want to go into
that's a mammal.
yeah,
Well, there you go.
but there you go. So it would be Top Dollar and obviously Isaiah Scott. But I would put over the Fish and Cole.
Again, strict.
Cole.
Match 5.
Oh,
Some
you
main
look
event,
at it.
which was my second match. So It doesn't really deserve this place. But it's Van Hammer Headshock versus Doink the Clownfish. So Van Hammer beat Doink.
Why not Greg?
What about
Greg the Hammerfish?
No.
Hammerhead.
Oh yeah,
Van
you
Hammer
could have
beat
got.
Doink.
Fuck
You
you,
could have got
Van
Greg
Hammer.
and Van Hammer and Van Hammer.
Greg's better
But
actually.
Doink's going over. Yeah,
Alright, I like it.
I wouldn't be happy putting Greg over.
Right, my main event. This is the one that I just thought this is easy. Finn Balor versus Shark Boy.
Yeah.
No point over Shark Boy.
Shark Boy got a main event.
Well, I've got Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio.
That's
Manta Ray, yeah. And I will put over Mr. Balor.
Well, I've got Bobby Fish versus Soul Man.
Cool.
A Soul. Rocky Johnson.
Wow, Rocky Johnson in the
Rocky
main event.
Johnson, hasn't he? I put over Rocky Johnson.
Yeah, why not? He ain't going to appear in many main events.
Exactly.
So
I put over Rocky, the Soul.
Yeah. And if you can understand how, just in context, Rocky Johnson won a fantasy card with Fish, let us know now on our website, which is Better Call
That's
Creative.
The Rock.
And our Twitter page, which is at BCC Pod, or our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCC Pod. That rounds out our birthday episode 1 of the year. But Sam will be making a surprise appearance with his own version of a fantasy pay-per-view. Yes. I have a feeling Mr. Martell may appear.
Oh, we will.
Yes. But do check back in the month of June for a very twin-based fantasy card as well.
Yeah,
to look forward to then.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Sam has to book the Bellas.
And that opens up our month of March, which features our pay-per-view review. Are you looking forward to some uncensored action in 1996? 16 cages high, full of explosives and an army, as Mr. Hogan
Frying pans and all.
and his little buddy Macho try and fight their way through the... What is it?
Doomsday Cage. Featuring Zeus.
The Alliance to End Hulkamania.
Yeah.
And Savage.
Anderson.
Can't do this.
Am I right in saying Macho Man was the champ at this point? Because had he won World War
No,
III?
the Giant was.
Giant won it from Savage, I think, at this point, hasn't he?
No, well,
Giant A in the match,
I know. Giant fights Giant Haystack. That's in the box. I think he's Flair. I think Flair's champ.
Oh yeah, Flair beat Macho. That's
Flair
it, 'cause
beat
he only
Macho
kept-
Man. Super Brawl.
Yeah, Super Brawl. I don't know why.
Oh my god, I got Giant Haystack.
Yeah.
And you know,
forgot about that, man.
this is in March. WWE
That is worse
and WrestleMania 12.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the
This
same
is
month as Mania.
So you've got the Iron Man and you've got the Doomsday Cage.
You've got the ultimate solution.
And one of them is
The
booked
Ultimate
by
Warrior.
one of them is booked by Vince, and it's not the Hogan Monster match.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And we will be doing our
Yeah,
character.
Booty
Well, we will be doing our character arc, which is on the Retribution. faction from WWE.
Christ.
And it is the performance at WWE. You're looking forward to seeing soulless WWE.
Jesus
Yes, unfortunately, we will be doing that. But do join us back then for that review. That leaves me to say, from Sam Chance, mildly impressed with Jack's pay-per-view. So,
Bye.
and from Jack Chance, birthday boy himself.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
Yeah!
That's up,
Last
man.
time I was here, we kicked your ass!
What? That's the way to make friends there, Pete.
You can't win a World Series!
Man. Wow.
My buddy Bucky Dent says hello! You know, I left tickets for Bill Buckner, but he couldn't bend over to pick them up.
Man.
How about it?
Speaking of the World Series and a great tradition here in Boston with the Red Sox.
What do they call it? The Curse of the Bambino. Right here. The City of Losers.
Easy. Kings,
How
you help.
about it?
Did you prep Pete Rose?
Well, we did have a couple of photos made before the matches.